Do I need to... Oh, everyone's gone already? Tataru! I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Yes, he's right there, I saw him. Ah, there he is! Yes, I know, he's literally here. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? Tataru, you know, I can't promise that, yeah.
Oh!
Hey, goodbye. Goodbye.
Hey!
Oh, it's a solo duty.
I know.
It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garlemald. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable Imperial defector. Are you an Imperial? Oh, yes, you are. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there's aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you're ready to depart, I'll ready the engines. Okay, we start from Alamigo. We go...
Ilsabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
Oh, determined music is playing. Okay.
On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
Oh, look at poor Elaine. Winter hasn't come. We come to winter. More like. It's always winter here.
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Oh. Lucia's armor is especially shiny.
Yeah. It's like bright.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Hopefully.
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that.
Oh? What?
Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
Aww.
From what I recall,
yeah, where's Nova?
For Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The First, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Will they cooperate with us as well?
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Yeah.
Quite
What are we
right.
doing?
Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald. The very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
If only we had that sleeping powder.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Oh, this is clever. Okay.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Nope.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies.
Ah, we are going with the vanguard, I suppose.
As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most.
Okay. We'll be all over the place then.
I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rear
Oh.
guard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Oh, okay. We can do that. Meanwhile, at the Imperial Supply Depot. Thancred, blow them up! She knows the broil is too strong! Yes! Yes, that's why she's not sending me with the Vanguard, in case I destroy everything by accident.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Wow, look at that armor.
Did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right, once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely.
Okay. You do that.
Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. A blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
We shall, Thancred. Hopefully.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Yeah, Thancred, would it not be a little bit
Wouldn't have it any other way.
dangerous?
Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
This is okay. So to say massacre presence, making it impossible for most enemies to detect you and increases movement speed. Alright. While hidden, delivers an attack that neutralizes Imperial soldiers. When the target is magitech weaponry or a guard dog, delivers an attack with a potency of 100. Throws a bomb that confuses the senses of guard dogs, neutralizing them. Has no effect on Imperial soldiers or magitech weaponry. This should do it. I hope this guy will not see me. And then... if I hide here, they may not see me. I think they will.
Just go around there. Oh.
I'm just going to wait for this guy to go. Please don't see me. Okay, withdraw. Thancred, over here. Coming!
You are returned.
Yes.
None the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
Yeah, I could have done better.
What news from our comrades?
Yeah, what are we doing?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
Would you like to do the honors, Maxima? No. A few moments later, at the rear of the Isambard contingent's supply caravan. Chocobos. this is literally a road.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now. If they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be alright, but...
Am I going to play as another Scion? Oh. What's going on? Something is coming.
Wait! Something's coming!
Yeah, I felt it too. Oh, the doggies! Oh no!
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Okay, let's do this. Music is so good. Where is my fairy? Excuse me. Oops. You get a dot. You get a dot. Everyone gets a dot. I want to kill this guy first though. He's attacking me. I think Eos can keep me safe for the moment. Oh wow, they die quickly. Good. I say good, but I think there will be something harder later on. I want to get this guy, and this guy, and this guy is attacking me. Hello. This area
But stay alert.
is okay. Where do I go?
Keep the carriages safe.
Assist Eminent Lane's group. Okay, I'm here.
What impeccable timing!
Eminent Lane, stop!
Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
Oh my goodness. Ah, tap targeting. I sometimes forget how terrible it is in this game. That battle cry, yeah, it grinded my ears, really. The savior of Ishgard is here. I think he can. Whoa! Alfino, what did you do? I saw that. Okay, anything else that I need to kill here? Not really. You get this. I'm in a lane. Maybe I can heal you a bit. Can I? There you go.
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
Okay, so it's Sicard's time. There we go.
We're the only ones still struggling.
I will take this guy.
Time we put our backs into it then.
Magitech reinforcements arrive. Where? Oh, hello. Ah! No! Stop
Look
it.
back, look back.
Look back?
Here. Right there.
Oh, they stopped him.
Yeah. I
Oh.
wanted you to look back. Shield wall.
Meanwhile, on the front line. Oh, I am going to play as one of the others, aren't I? Saru is having the time of her life, I suppose.
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
Yeah, Estinian doesn't know the difference.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
Yeah. Oh, well, Ishtola has a point.
That I did.
Oh. Oh, the Legatus is here. Who am I going to fight as? I'm so curious right now.
That's Vigilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
Oh, am I going to use these?
There's no end to them.
Oh, I'm here. Hello.
I was wondering when you'd turn up.
Oh, it didn't take long. Oh, I'm going to play as myself. Okay.
There's no stopping us now. Come on. Let's show them what we're made of.
I don't know. Not for you. I don't think Liz needs help there. She's decimating them. My EOS will keep me healthy, so... Oh my goodness, by the 12th! Oh, my new Art of War! Whee! It looks pretty, but I'm still punching the earth, so... Nothing changed, really. Pippin, what are you doing? Oh, wow. Oh. Well, that was convenient. Oh, Virgilia is here. Oh, can I heal Lucy a little bit more? If only I checked my mana in the process.
Tremble before the sun!
How am I supposed to... Oh my goodness, they are taking so much damage! Okay, are you doing your thing, Saru? Please. 2 seconds, 1 second. Falling boss. There we go. The maniac did it.
A worthy adversary.
She's happy.
Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death. Sadu Hatun.
Oh, poor Magnai.
That was the last of them.
Poor
The day
Magnai.
is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan?
Our supply caravan is good. Don't worry about it.
Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades.
Okay, as you say.
And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
Yeah, we are very close. I can see the tower. Well, the tower can be seen from miles away, I suppose, but...
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain.
Oh, this looks cold. Like, really cold.
800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth. Freezing, hungry, desperate, hated.
That's a nice aetheryte. Very technological. When you look at it.
The chosen, forsaken.
Oh, we're doing the world's slowest walk. I see.
In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum?
Was this before or after you took him over?
Spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
Hey! Garlemald time! Hello? Is there anyone here?
Not so much as a whisper.
No, I can't see anyone.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
Yeah, and there's no one.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
No, I don't think they all are tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
Ah, you have a point. We need to settle.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
Aye, aye.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Oh, it should have a name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone.
I'm delighted to see that almost everyone is actually dressed for the cold weather. Virgilia is in our care, along with the rest of the tempered. Glory to Garlemald. Glory to Garlemald, they still whisper in their sleep, even as they writhe in pain. Liz? Roban taught me a lot about military strategy during exercises in the fringes. Coordinating units with wildly different capabilities, surveying and securing hostile terrain, that sort of thing. Now I have the chance to put his teachings into practice. Pippin? We have asked the Ironworks members and some of our other comrades to stay with the airships. In the event we are discovered, we must be ready to move them swiftly to a safer location. Maxima? This is all that remains of Latorum. Homes become empty husks. If this is the state of the outlying villages, I dread to think what has become of the capital. Once everything is in place, we will discuss our next move. Okay, that was short. Arun? Tempered soldiers are sleeping soundly while they undergo treatment. There are too many to attend at once, but I and the other healers will see to all eventually. Sicard? He's dying right now, look at him. He is so cold. Hells bells! This place is bloody freezing! Rather be tied to the topmast in a storm than suffer this cold any longer. Anyone that can spare a swig of rum that will sort me right out? Shouldn't be long before we have a half-decent camp with so many helping hands. I was concerned the snow might hinder our progress, but our Ishgardian friends are used to working in conditions like these. In spite of the obstacles we have faced, our plan proceeds apace. Just a little farther and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we are to discuss a course of action with Lucia. Would you mind asking Y'shtola and Graha to join us in that building to the northeast of the camp? Alize and I will meet you there. Where is Graha? I didn't even see him. A meeting? Yes, I'll make my way over once my head has cleared. Why? In truth, I have been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. It's the monstrous tower on the horizon. Jagged, hideous, unholy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zot, only far more terrifying. Either flows unceasingly towards it, converging into a swirling mess of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant chill in the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. Okay? You'll be pleased to know most of the Tempered have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that everyone fled at the first sign of trouble, though it seems to me they left far too many useful possessions behind. Aye, although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking aloud. You mentioned a meeting? I will make my way there. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin. Let's go. Why is it playing this music? Is it voiced? Should be, I suppose.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may.
Speak freely.
Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
That would be nice, really.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
Yeah, at least I can help too.
No, I am sure we will manage.
Okay.
Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
If you say so, Stola.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next.
He has a point.
My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
We'll get the parts.
The machinist will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
I think it can't stand still.
We've made our presence known to the Telophoroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position.
Well, we are not exactly hiding.
That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
You do that. Oh, he's back to his old outfit.
Don't forget
Urianger.
about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace.
Just be careful, guys.
How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
Okay. I can do that.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino.
What?
Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rime. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields.
Oh, if there are any survivors, we will surely find them. Or extensive travels is something of an understatement, but I suppose if there's nothing else that needs doing... Oh no. Ice fields! I love ice fields! Oh wait, I don't. My face.
As ever, you do not want for enthusiasm. But given your experience traipsing about through Quintus, I should be surprised if you let a little inclement weather dampen your redoubtable spirits. And even if that were the case, the promise of hot soup upon your return would surely spur you to action.
Okay, I'm up for soup.
You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
I'm taking my children with me on a mission to find survivors.
Where they will freeze and die.
Who? The survivors or my children?
Your children, of course.
No! Amenelaine, are you okay? There's this odd perception that Ishgardians have lived their whole lives in the snow, but it really wasn't that bad before the calamity. And afterwards, well, I was rarely more than a few paces from a raging fire. This dreadful place, on the other hand, is nothing but cold, cold, cold. And it's my understanding that Isambard has always been this way. Gods, can you imagine? Yeah, I can. Actually. Half an hour? I've never thought myself much of an explorer, though I suppose my adventures have taken me to all sorts of strange and distant places. With that in mind, traversing an ice field should be a simple feat. Gods be good, if it is this cold with Tatara's clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when next we meet. It makes me realize too that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them, and quickly. Amenelaine is, as usual, milling about aimlessly. Oh, am I not surprised? Well, ho, chums! Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like rather a tall order. Oh my... Oh, the burn! I was not expecting a burn in a place like this cold. Since you ask, we are to scour the Eblan Rime for survivors. What? Wander around ice fields on the off chance you'll find someone? You'd take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Yeah. I'm surprised by how many wild beasts there are roaming about the place. Perhaps now that the soldiers have gone, they are free to wander and forage as they please. The few buildings I can see don't appear to be residences. They may still warrant investigation, though. Yeah, I see cerulean rigs here. Uh-oh, this music. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing? Or maybe it's a cow? Not what we're after either way. Is that an ether current? Ah no, just a wind sprite. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. But lo! What do I see over yon hillock? What do you see? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl! He would spot the girl.
Spot the girl, yeah. From miles away.
A survivor? Show me! Over there, behind that tree. It looks like she's running away from something. Though surely not us? She wouldn't even know we are here unless she had a telescope like me. All I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress, a rather fetching one at that.
Uh-huh.
Of course he didn't miss the details. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. Leave it to me. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Oh, you're not going after the girl? That's new. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. Thank you. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful. Thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. Alphino. According to the label here, this place was used by those involved with extracting ceruleum. Okay. We're getting closer. I'm sure of it. At first we thought she had gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Oh, I see someone. Behind the tree. I see. Hey, don't be afraid. The girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. So we are hiding behind this. Sprint, girl, sprint. Hide here.
Oh, I failed again. I was trying to be too quick.
Yeah, don't try. This quest doesn't like being quick. Or too slow. Or anything in between. Yeah, there we go. Hi, girl. You made it very difficult for me. Still in one piece, yes. Hello. Am I going to do my greeting? That would be fun. Who are you? Stay back! This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I will blow this place sky high. And don't? Please, we just want to talk. Yeah. Don't be afraid, girl. I'm Alphino. This is my sister Alize and our good friend Alia. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all of this? You did this to us! No we didn't. We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Telophoroi are the ones to blame. They are the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they have destroyed the entire world. They are the enemy. Our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who had been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we have met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telophori's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name is Licinia. As for how I have managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, and the roar, that terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. if your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would take me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor's spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers, or it was. But now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I figured that out, don't worry about it. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were... the truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Of course! Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. Are you not cold in that dress?
Well, she has mittens.
Hello. This is everyone. You're just a few. Listenia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with means of heating the place? As a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that's too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alizé? We'll have a fire burning in no time. Maybe build it under that gazebo. The what? Oh, you mean the bower? Yes, yes, do as you will. Be careful, guys. Why are you staring like that? I want to first talk to everyone here, including the refugees. Is that a radio?
Yes.
And it is playing... Da 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 da. Alphino? Early signs of frostbite. This must be treated quickly. Oh no. I can feel my fingers again. All is well. All is well. With food in my belly and a song in my heart. Alizé? What they need most is a decent meal. We have food back at the camp, but there is the distance to consider. I can bring food. Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I have worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I will leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer and with more food, but they are not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? Disney, are you going to say something? Before the Civil War, I was a student. The others were officials of some sort, I think. Even after all this time together, we hardly know the first thing about each other. What I do know is this. We are Garleans. When times are hard, we stick together, no matter what. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emenelaine's tinctures, the ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? Sure. Hello. Would you like to have? The numbness is beginning to subside, though I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. Being gifts from the notoriously unreliable Emenelaine. Oh no! It's highly doubtful this concoction will have the intended effect. If only there was willing, and more importantly, unwitting volunteers on whom to test it. Oh my. There you go. Warming tincture? I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, for whom do you fight? Have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what's happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, Cerulia Ingens is full of the stuff for all the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. Have your tincture, person. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? No, no, no. Why would it be poison? It was a joke, it was a joke. If I laugh, it's that I may not weep, so said the poet. And alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fell. We are the blessed damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead and live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. What do you want? I want to give you a tincture, please. A tincture. May as well drink it, I suppose. This? It's a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it? We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components crafted with the finest ore, sourced from Locus Amoenus it is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like all the others. Because all we have been hearing is the same music being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon, an ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Ammonius. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hoped to take back what was once ours. It's a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varys yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios.
We have some bad news for you.
By the way, it was not Gaius who assassinated him. Get that idea out of your head. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varys would not be defeated so easily. Oh, you wouldn't know how easily he was defeated. How to tell you? I have the echo. I actually saw what happened. But you wouldn't believe me, so... What's that? A tincture. Here, drink it. So this is what you gave the others? Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Yeah, go on ahead. Are you part of the group staying in Laturum? I saw Legatus Vergilia's troops heading towards the Magna Glacies a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Yes, indeed. They are in our custody right now. Camp Broken Glass, you call it? And Virgilia and her men are all there now? Huh. So how did you reach the Magna Glacies? Did you cross the mountains on foot? We flew. Why am I answering all these questions exactly? Airships? Then there might be a way to... You want to go, don't you? Lysnia, where is everyone? Is something the matter? I heard a voice talking. A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone is out here. Perhaps a baby Almasty has found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. You are hiding something.
Yeah.
Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people too. I just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat a Legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what we can tell. I have already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they are not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we would have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay the tappers. If it's ceruleum you need, then ceruleum you shall have. You'd best watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. I'm choosing that one. I'm like, I am not buying your lie, woman. I heard what I heard. Yes, of course. If I see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach the Tapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you would rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. I will go the lake. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. Who goes there? How did you find us? Someone actually told us that you're here. A Garlean. What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the pure bloods over at Victor Spoils hadn't given away our location, you would never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes thought they could come waltzing in here demanding ceruleum with nothing to offer in return. Ha! Looks like the boots on the other foot. Now the capital's gone to shite. So they have resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, Sword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another thing coming.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Are you serious? We are literally here to help. What are you talking about? Why did you go inside? Oh, Jarek. Oh, cutscene. Okay. There you are. Huh? Alizé. Just after you left, Lysnia asked me to go and catch up with you, in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I have a little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. So this is Tapper's Den. Well then, after you. Okay. Was that wise to leave Alphino all alone back there? I have a feeling it was not. Who are you? What happened to the guards? They attacked us. I beat the shit out of them. Eorzeans and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald? That doesn't make any goddamn sense! Why in the hells would you pass up the chance to put those imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess. None of you are Garlean. You were brought here from other lands. Kirabania, Yangsha, Bosja, Dalmasca, to name but a few. Some dragged here against our will, others fed Pollux about a better life, all put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. Old hierarchy means nothing in New Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is Cerulia Ingens, still sustaining us, even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up ceruleum from the bottom of the lake. But how can you do that if it's frozen over? Ha! Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we have got ceruleum by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. Why don't you come over? Actually, we can certainly ask. But if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there would be nothing left for us, thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. Long as there's a need for ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by, even if Garlemald, as we knew it is gone for good. If you're wondering why we would post guards outside, it's because we've had trouble with other refugees. And I don't mean the ones at Victor's spoils. Some of them come bearing weapons and won't take no for an answer. As for the 2 guards you met on the way in, I'll tell them what we have discussed. Once they're recovered from the beating you gave them. Come to think of it, maybe we should ask your contingent to send some bandages and healing balm. Regardless of what the Ilsabard contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it's for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people? Their lives, their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there will be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. The fire we built at Victor's spoils won't last forever, and it's too dangerous for Lysania and the others to search for more kindling. If we can get them some ceruleum, that will be one less thing for them to worry about, for a time at least. So you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? Yes. What? Those purebloods up at Victor's spoils sent you? To turn to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I had thought. Then again, Lysania's got her little sister to think about. That's her sister, we heard.
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't want to share it with us for some reason. I wonder why. A sister? But we only saw Lysania and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there would be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Lysania at first, thinking she would come back with something to exchange, but I can spare them a bottle worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? Okay? I can't for the life of me think why Lysania would keep her sister a secret from us. But we can ask about that after we have delivered the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. Yeah, I am going to ask her about the sister. This isn't right. It's too quiet. Oh no. I would have thought Avano would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. If anything happened to Alphino, I swear. Behind the buildings, perhaps? Oh, what? What happened? Refugee? Damn it, what happened? Are they dead? They asked me asked me to help carry supplies. But when I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. What are you talking about? Vultures, that's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness. Then in you swoop. Here to help? What a rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. We are literally here to help. You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We have got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles and a bed that was still warm. It's true. Lysnia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. What? But now there's no sign of either of them. Oh. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours. And if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I would never give up my people. They are going to die. We are trying to help them, you idiot. Yes! Thank you, Alize. Her sister is ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you.
Ah, stubborn bastard.
Oh.
Okay, just freeze.
You invade our home. Excuse me? A Garlean saying that some other people are invading homelands? That's rich coming from you.
That's just rude.
Tainted with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. A Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, than be corrupted by your wild magics.
Seriously.
We were waiting for a chance to free them, since the moment you arrived. Are you serious? I am not even mad, I'm disappointed. This is getting us nowhere.
Nope.
I cannot say how Lysnia and her sister will react when we find them. But find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries and theirs. I'll join you in the search after.
No,
yeah,
just leave them alone. Just leave them alone.
What do you mean, alright, be careful? I don't want to leave him here. We'll do our best to find them quickly.
Well, you know, he beat them when they attacked him
3-1.
3-1, and it was a surprise attack. So now that he knows that they have bad intentions, do you think he will, you know...
But it's Alphina we're talking about.
Get beaten. Yeah, but he's a sage now. Lasers. Pew 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 pew.
There is only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. Okay. Alphina, please be careful. Are you going to say anything? Rob us of our lands. Rob us of our pride. No, I will not allow it. Better to die free than live in servitude and shame. The girls would say the same. Wasn't this exactly what you were doing to all the provinces you conquered?
Yeah.
Living in servitude?
Yeah.
The hypocrisy is just baffling.
Yep.
I will follow as soon as I can. After I've given them some basic treatment, I will take the men inside the house and use a light sleeping enchantment to help them rest. And ensure that they don't cause any more trouble. I'm sorry, but this is something I must do. No, don't be sorry, just make them sleep. If you must. 2 sets of fresh footprints. Young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphino's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. Oh, I found some fresh blood. Excuse me.
Coming. Slowly.
The blood staining the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeastwards. The two bodies are already cold. Uh-oh. Oh, did they die hand in hand? We could have helped you, you know. You shouldn't have run away. Alize, they're dead. Alphino? It's too late.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked.
Yeah. And they're dead now. And now the others will think that we killed them.
No.
Of course they will.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I don't know, Alize.
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have...
There was nothing we could do, Alphino.
We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
Okay. I think we can do that.
What if we're only making it worse?
But they will not trust us either way. Just...
Maybe we don't belong here. But neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it. But Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all.
Yeah, there must be something weird going on.
I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right.
I just take it off now.
You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders.
We were not really invaders.
But I pray that in time,
hey,
we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
Alphino? Oh, he's not saying anything. There must have been something we could have done, but what? Should we have never come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? I don't know, Alize. If only we had had a chance to talk things over. But it's too late now. Too late by far. Oh, the blue-haired guardian! Are we going to meet him? There was one in the launch trailer.
Oh.
Alphino's resolve may have been shaken, but he has not forgotten his duty. We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make our report to Lucia and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. I don't even need to talk to anyone else. I'll just go... Oh, maybe I do. Treatment of the tempered is proceeding as well as can be expected. If there is anything to report, you will be sure to know, though I gather you have a report of your own to deliver. Yeah. Not a good one. Is something the matter? The twins look out of sorts, and you two seem a bit off. Forgive me for saying, but the three of you appear rather drained since your return. Is there aught I might do to be of assistance? You mustn't forget to send some of our allies to Tepper's Den. We still owe them for the bottle of ceruleum. Alfino, would you mind giving Lucy a full report? Oh, Alfino is really feeling bad. He is not even talking to me. Alize and Alfino tell me they have finished their preliminary search of survivors. For survivors. But refrained from saying much more than that. Clearly they're reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account? You might. And it's not good.
Thank you for your report.
No problem.
We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
Hopefully.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
Or they may brand him a traitor and try to kill him too.
Oh, Max can handle it.
Yeah, probably.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
Oh, you wouldn't know, Lucia. How would you know?
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering.
Mm.
So tell me, what else have we learned?
Did we even learn something?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Popularis, Maxima identified.
Okay.
They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it.
Yeah, we know this far.
Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad.
Oh.
Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Well, he was. Of sorts.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Foul play.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the 3rd Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer.
But he is not the murderer.
Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession. And in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
Ugh, political things.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory. And that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I know which house it came from. It came from House Brutus.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
Yeah. As Fandaniel, just playing his part in all of this, using Asahi's face.
So. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
Of course. Why wouldn't he?
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varys giving them orders, in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Oh, are you going to show the radio? Yeah, exactly.
Varys spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
Okay.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
Oh, that's why they didn't get tempered. Aha.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
Irina?
My friends, I must speak with you.
What's going on?
A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
Magni restrained him? I thought he would cut him in half.
No,
I think we do.
That's the other one.
Sadu? Sadu would burn him alive.
Hello.
Hello.
Who do we have here?
Garleans?
Yeah, Guardians.
Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
He is so blue. Everything about him is blue.
I am Lucia Junius, a temple knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Yeah, who are you? What's your name?
Jullus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
Jullus. Okay.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe.
He doesn't buy it for some reason.
Would you?
Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths.
Oh, they're starving.
If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours.
Who is your commander?
If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
It's playing And Love You Shall Find, if I remember correctly. The one that plays at Turncliffe. Who's going?
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
Wouldn't it be nice if we had a Garlean with us?
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I'm going with you, or what would your mother say if I let you 2 go by yourselves? I'm choosing the first one.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Yes, I will. Don't worry. They're my children. I'll keep them safe. I hope. I hope at least.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Do you know who I am?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Yeah, I give the guy his weapon back. By the gods! Ishtola, I worry they were not in the best state of mind to volunteer for this undertaking, but what's done is done. I know you will take good care of them, and yourself as well, I trust. Arun? They are resilient in the face of hardship, you as well. But good intentions and stubborn determination alone will not be enough to bring our mission to a successful conclusion. Be on your guard. Maxima? Jullus Spear Norbanus. It's unusual for one so young to achieve such a high rank. Very unusual. His uniform identifies him as a member of the First Legion, which has a particularly fierce reputation. Whoever his superior may be, I advise you to approach them with caution. Serena? We captured the boy as he was about to make off with our food. He must be very hungry to take such risks. Maybe we should give him something to eat. Reward him for his boldness. Oh, that would be nice, actually. Anyone else? Alize? I know. This won't bring back Lysania or her sister. Taking the same risks, making the same mistakes. It's possible, but better to try than to give up every time. No? Perhaps it's unwise to volunteer for a mission so soon after the previous disaster. Nevertheless, I shall not squander this opportunity. Magnai? The lowly task of watching our provisions would not normally befit the sun, but these being unusual circumstances, I will let no man take that which is not by the rights theirs. Jullus? Said your farewells, have you? Oh, that's the only thing you're going to say. You'll be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred, in particular, will be worried sick if you are gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. Why Thancred in italics? I think he might be watching us. He might. I have a feeling that he might follow us.
right. Right. Okay, so he will basically be talking.
Yeah. I have a feeling that that's why the name is in italic.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. Why Tancred in particular?
Yeah.
Why him?
He's going to follow us.
Yeah.
Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we are outside the camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility.
Oh, you can't see that.
Yeah. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation.
Huh? Wink.
Wink. Wink. Will they say anything? Where do you think their headquarters are? I assume there are a few others beside him and this commander he mentioned. We will do only as instructed. After all, this is what we have been striving for ever since we arrived. Jullus? Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill. Which hill? Then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alizé and he's Alphino. And last but not least, there is Alia. Alia? Where have I heard that before? I don't know. I kicked Empire's ass quite a few times. That might be the case. No matter. Alphino and Alizé will watch the road ahead, while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you are to run, not saunter, run towards the station. Okay. If you even think about going for your weapons, the deal is off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Once you choose to depart, Jullus will accompany you, Alphino and Alizé will then begin moving towards the destination. Ready to make a dash for the station? Yes. So we should not touch mobs. Okay, we're here. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. I don't think you would catch Tancred, like, who is an Archon who studied espionage. Like, I don't think you can spot him. Are these your headquarters? No. We are stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you have kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. I wonder what sort of conditions Jullus and his comrades are living in. If they have any sense, they will have picked somewhere like Victor's spoils to take shelter. Alphino? We are getting closer to the Imperial Palace, if one can still call it that. It truly is a terrifying sight to behold. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They will tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off, understood? From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. Oh, now we can take the weapons out. They would attack their own countrymen? Aye, they spare their own but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you are to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. Uh-oh. So, Alphino and Alizé are not to attack, but we are free to do so. Are you going to say anything, Alizé? Goddammit, we are perfectly capable of holding our own. Yeah, but you can't. You must stay alert. Jullus? I see why your comrades chose you. Jullus, Our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They are beyond saving. No, they are not. We can save them. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Why are you so bloody stubborn? He truly believes there's nothing that can be done for them. No wonder he isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Half an hour? The surest way to limit casualties is to reach our destination without drawing attention to ourselves. Perhaps afterwards we try again to convince Jullus that the tempered can be saved. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. And that's still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid unnecessary confrontations. What the hell are those? Oh, those are the ones that we cannot help. Remember, we can't really cure the tempered that are physically changed. Such a transformation is likely irreversible. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. To think they were once ordinary people. Look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Well, not those! Those exposed to vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. But the other ones can be cured! Why do I have a feeling that this guy will be a very, very nice ally and friend at the end of all of this? Even here, in the outskirts, it's plain to see how vastly different Garlemald is compared to other cities. Though I wish there was another way, I thank you for keeping us from harm. Okay, we're almost there. You have kept your side of the agreement, so I'll keep mine. This way. You are waiting. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live.
What do you mean that they have trains?
Indeed. And if Jullus was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive, over there. Will it be voiced, I wonder?
These are their chosen representatives.
Yeah.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander.
Quintus Vankina, you say. Okay.
First? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
No.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit.
Well, they sent an army so that we could survive, you know?
If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat.
Peace.
After compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
Or we can make peace.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference. To make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
I hope so.
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of
Oh
Garlemald?
my goodness, seriously?
It's prosperity for Garlemald at the cost of everyone else. That's why.
Yeah.
Is it because we do not share your faith?
It's not
that
about
we do
faith.
Not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils.
What are you trying to say?
That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter.
Yeah. Excuse me? Are you serious?
You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition.
Okay, what condition?
Collar them.
Uh-oh, I knew those colors was something in the trailer. What do the colors do exactly?
Explode.
I don't like this.
If we leave the metro station, they will explode.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock.
Where's mine?
Keep away from that one.
Am I to be the envoy?
Champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed.
Oh, he knows who we are. Backing away slowly. Don't touch her. Don't. She might kill us all.
Even if she allowed herself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If she refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
Oh no, you are not. He's using the twins to keep us in check.
Yes.
This is... this is... so low, even for Guardians.
You needn't worry about us.
What do you mean? I worry about you all the time.
We're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
We really want to help you. That's what for. Because even the most bitter adversary may one day see reason, or on the coldest, blackest of nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire. I'm going to say the second one. It is something literally Alfino would say. Oh, come on! Why did you show me him?
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be.
Because I'm not a merciless barbarian?
You will be their warden. Take them away.
Jullus is like, me? Okay.
Sir.
Can we use the ether right now?
Can we teleport out?
Can we teleport out?